Welcome to my series on how to play great songs. Thank you for tuning in, as I have not done one of these recently. So I hope you're eager to learn a new song today. This lesson is for R.E.M's song, Camera. All right, R.E.M's Camera. First thing to note about this song is when it comes to playing this D chord, you're always going to want to go to the formation where you're barring the first three strings 1, 2, and 3 on the second fret, and putting your middle finger down on the third fret of the second string. And always use that formation of the D rather than like the first version, the beginner version that people learn, where it's just you got your 3 fingers all in place. You use the same notes, but you're using only 2 fingers this time. And you're going to need that, especially during the chorus, because it frees up your other 2 fingers to play on top of that. Anyway, that's so just always get into a habit of going to this D. All right, and so the verse progression is 4 chords long, and it starts out with a version of that D. Only I play it with your pinky on the 5th fret of the first string, grabbing this high A note. And I always come back to that, or try to come back to that, as the first chord in the progression of the verse. So you play it like this. And then your second chord, you move to this. That is open first string, second string you're on the 3rd fret, 3rd string on the 2nd fret, 4th string on the 3rd fret. And just strum strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. Try to leave this open A string out of it if you can. If not, it's not a big deal. But the strumming in this is really sparse because the verses are really quiet. It's kind of a quiet song. So when you start out with this chord, just maybe hit it once. And then just pluck individual strings after that until you go to this next chord, the second chord here. Once again, this second chord, I'm not sure the name of it, but it's open first string, 3rd fret on the 2nd, 2nd fret on the 3rd, 4th string is on the 3rd fret. And then for the 3rd chord of the progression, everything kind of stays the same except for you going to go to an A sus4. So bar strings 3 and 4 on the 2nd fret, and you're leaving your ring finger in place here on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. So that is an A sus4 chord. And this time you can't hit the open A string as the bass note. Like the last 2 chords of this verse progression you have are A chords, so you do ring the open A string. So that's an A sus4, and then you make it into an A7 sus4. So in other words, you're keeping your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, but instead of barring strings 3 and 4, you're just going to make string 3 open and just hit the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then you got your open A as the root. So it goes from an A sus4 to an A7 sus4, and that's kind of how the line of the verse rounds out, and you do that 4 times for each verse. So going back through it, so a note about the strumming patterns. It's a really sparse, quiet song, as I said, so you're just going to want to minimize the amount of heavy strumming. I usually do it just like once for the beginning of each chord, and then just pick a couple of individual strings behind it, develop your own pattern, whatever sounds right for you. So it's like a combination of individual string picking and strumming along with it. And just kind of do it your own way according to that. So the verse has 4 lines, all like that. Now when you get to the end of the verse, there's a little transition part that leads you into the chorus. So I'll play the last line of the verse again. Now transition to chorus. Go back to A sus4, which means put the bar back on that 2nd fret. You're still leaving your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And you go back to the A sus4, and then transition to a full A without the sus4. You finally take the sus4 note off and you're just doing a regular A, and that's the last chord before the chorus. So the way that transition goes, I'll back up to the last line of the verse again. To A sus4, to regular A. Now you're ready for the chorus. So the chorus starts right in with this G chord, and you hold that for 2 measures. And then you go back to the D. And the D, like I said before, play it with this bar on the 2nd fret. And you do this melody along with it. And that happens every time you go to the D during this chorus. So the melody takes place on the 1st string, where you start out with 2, and then it goes 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, open. That's how the melody goes when you're playing this D chord. 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, open. And you're doing that while strumming the chord behind it, of course. And then for that last note, you take the bar off of the 1st string to make it so that it's open into a D9 shape, where the 1st string is open. And you do that right as you're transitioning to the next chord. So, so now I'll tell you how the basic chords of the chorus go. You got G for 2 measures, and then D to C for 2 measures, and back to D, back to G again. And when you're doing that G, you can pick out the 5th string and do a little hammer on from 0 to 2. That fits right in there. Whenever he's strumming the G chord, he does that. Back to D, and then this time C again. So this is rounding out the chorus now. We go to an A sus4 to A. So the chorus rounds out in kind of the same way it comes in, with this A sus4 to A. So going through the chorus one more time, we got this little lead-in part. that's the chorus, and then you're ready for the next verse. I fell by your bed once. I didn't want to tell you. I should keep myself in between the pages of the green light room. If we fall by the side, will you be remembered? Will she be remembered? Lonely cloud. Well, anyway, you get the idea for that's how the verse and chorus goes, and that's the main parts of that song. One little thing, additional thing I can show you is that little guitar lick that happens after the second chorus. He does like a little solo of sorts, not a solo, just single note guitar lick, and it starts out in this D formation. And you pluck the fourth string open, and then you do strings 3 and 2, and then 1 you slide up from 5 to 10, and then land on the 8, and then go 5 to 7, and then 5 3 5. This is all on the first string. So I'll play how this lick goes that he does. It starts in this D formation with the pinky on the 5th fret of the first string. Pluck the open 4th string, and then 3 2, 5 to 10 slide up, and then you land on an 8. So it's like a 5 to 10 slide, and then land on the 8, and then 5 to 7 hammer on, and then just 5 3 5. And then the third verse kind of goes along while Mike Mills is still kind of playing that lead. He kind of keeps going and makes it a little more sparse as it goes along. If you're just playing this song by yourself, I usually just I go back to the verse the way they were before by doing these progressions. And then after you get to the final chorus, you actually do the final chorus twice. Third verse, final chorus twice. And then you're all done with the song, and that's it. So I hope that's enough information for you to enjoy this song. See you next time. Well, I hope you're able to enjoy this odd but delicate song by R.E.M. And thanks for watching. This has been my continuing series on how to play great songs.